#sell Singapore. And their media starts claiming Singapore news is actually sabotaging the economy by promoting a sell Indonesia narrative. Look, it's classic deflection.
Don't believe everything you read in the Singapore newspaper. Most people think that Indonesia is a very bad country, a very corrupted country, very third world. As a Singaporean living in Indonesia, don't live under a rock. Indonesia has beautiful parts as well, guys.
Ibu ini dari mana ya?
Singapura.
Dari Singapura. Oh, jauh betul, Mbak ya. Gimana Kak makan di sini kira-kira Kak enak atau enggak?
Bagus.
I came to Indonesia because I was excited to see how the economic landscape is like in Southeast Asia. And Indonesia is a developing country with a lot of potential, and that's why I came here.
Indonesia, saya Pak Nick ngomong terima kasih ya. Terima saya ke Indonesia.
We don't rest. We scroll phone until 3 a.m. then wake up at 7 a.m. just to curse life again. But still, we tahan. Still, we tank. Still, we tap card, squeeze, train, act normal. This is Singapore life. Not happy, not sad, just very sian.
Halo Sobat Media Mosa, ada fenomena menarik yang sedang ramai diperbincangkan di media sosial. Setelah sebelumnya sejumlah media dan warganet di Singapura sempat menggaungkan tagar @sell Indonesia yang menggambarkan Indonesia sebagai negara yang kurang menarik untuk ditinggali, kini situasinya justru berbalik arah. Tagar @sell Singapore mulai bermunculan dan memancing diskusi luas, terutama dari warga Singapura yang mulai membandingkan kehidupan di negaranya dengan pengalaman mereka saat berada di Indonesia. Perubahan pandangan ini tidak muncul begitu saja. Semakin banyak warga Singapura yang datang ke Indonesia, baik untuk berlibur, bekerja jarak jauh, maupun mencoba tinggal dalam jangka waktu tertentu, mereka menemukan kenyataan yang berbeda dari gambaran negatif yang selama ini sering mereka dengar. Indonesia yang sebelumnya dianggap kacau dan tertinggal, ternyata menawarkan suasana hidup yang lebih santai, lingkungan sosial yang hangat, serta ritme kehidupan yang tidak terlalu diburu oleh tekanan kompetisi. Pengalaman langsung inilah yang perlahan mengubah cara pandang banyak orang terhadap Indonesia.
So, I'm seeing this whole sell Singapore and #sell Singapore trend blowing up. Let's look at the facts. The Indonesian rupiah is under serious pressure. Investors are anxious about the fiscal outlook under Prabowo, and capital is naturally seeking heaven. And historically, does that capital go? Right here to Singapore. Now, to stop the bleeding, high-profile figures have launched Buy Indonesia to keep money local. Totally fair play, right? But then it takes a weird turn. #sell Singapore. And their media starts claiming Singapore news is actually sabotaging the economy by promoting a sell Indonesia narrative. Look, it's classic deflection. When external institutional funds decide to de-REIT, it's a market reaction, not a Singaporean conspiracy. Reversing the narrative to point fingers at us might score points online, but let's be real.
Kanina, being Singaporean means everything must fast, everything must pay, everything must queue. Hungry, queue. Sick, queue. Want to die, also must queue for Columbium slot. We say, not bad lah. When it's bad, we say, can lah. When we're dying, we don't rest. We scroll phone until 3 a.m. then wake up at 7 a.m. just to curse life again. But still, we tahan. Still, we tank. Still, we tap card, squeeze, train, act normal. This is Singapore life. Not happy, not sad, just very sian, very hungry, and forever lan until our lampa pain.
Don't believe everything you read in the Singapore newspaper. Most people think that Indonesia is a very bad country, a very corrupted country, very third world. As a Singaporean living in Indonesia, don't live under a rock. Indonesia has beautiful parts as well, guys. A Singaporean trying to visit Indonesia like Bali, don't think your Singapore dollar is very powerful. Don't think you know how to speak Bahasa Melayu and you already know how to talk the whole Bahasa Indonesia. You're wrong, guys. The Singaporean living in Indonesia for the past 12 years, they have a different perspective over things, guys. They actually look at Singaporeans and say, why you like that? The rich Indonesians are technically more cunning than us, guys. In Singapore, we believe by rules. In Indonesia, what rules are you talking about?
Okay, Singaporean versus Indonesia. Okay, so as a Singaporean 6 week living in Indonesia, this is what I've realized. Personal opinion, don't flame me. So Indonesians are generally more chilled and laid back, whereas Singaporeans are more, kiasu and more fast-paced and lacks patience. So one example was my accommodation had like a blackout 2 weeks for 2 times, and it lasted for like 4 hours. So how Indonesians react is they basically blackout, then they went out, get a smoke break, and then chat with their friends. Then some of them took a scooter, have a ride don't know where. Then 2 hours later they come back, they realize electricity not back, okay never mind, then they go out again. But Singaporeans, how would Singaporeans react? They will first complain, confirm complain. They will ask who, when, what, why, how. When is the electricity coming back? Why so long haven't come back? Then how? So yeah, I think makes me think that what if us Singaporeans we maybe chill a bit and not think too much and just let life takes where we are. Maybe we could be happier and could be more chill. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments below whether you think true or wrong.
Indonesia changed my perspective of life a lot. I used to be the typical Singaporean. I wanted the fastest car. I wanted the flashiest things. And even when I got that fast car, I wanted to make it even faster. Modify here, modify there. Typical, right? Amount of money that I spent on that car, I could easily buy another car here in Indonesia. Singaporeans ask me, hey, why don't you buy a better car in Indonesia? It's a lot cheaper, Yeah, it's a lot cheaper, but who are you going to impress? When I talk to rich Indonesians in Indonesia, they don't care, They don't care what car they drive, They only care how much money is in my pocket, And how much money they can give to their next generation. We Singaporeans different. We spend for our generation right now. You don't need to hold your Mercedes key to tell people that you're rich or tell people that you're living in a condo. You can be living in a 5-room flat or a 4-room flat to be rich also, Because what I learned from Indonesians is not to show off, but to leave a legacy behind. To leave something for my children.
Kedatangan tamu dari Singapura, tapi dia masih bingung sama bahasa Indonesia.
Dapat info ini dari mana, Bu?
Dari mana?
Iya, makan di sini dari mana infonya?
Supir kami.
Oh, dari supir. Iya. Ibu ini dari mana ya?
Singapura.
Dari Singapura. Oh, jauh betul, Mbak ya. Gimana Kak makan di sini kira-kira Kak enak atau enggak?
Bagus.
Bagus ya, enak Kak ya. Mantap ya. Ya. Ibu ke Indonesia ini berapa lama, Bu?
5 hari.
5 hari, Bu ya. Ibu paham bahasa Indonesia?
Sedikit tapi kurang
ya?
lancar.
Sedikit kurang lancar, Bu ya.
Ya.
Ini boleh di-upload di sosmed nggak, Kak?
他说可不可以他都去他的website.
Yes. Oke, makasih Bu ya. Oke.
Indonesia, saya Pak Nick ngomong terima kasih ya. Terima saya ke Indonesia. Kalau belum tahu teman-teman, sebenarnya saya asli orang Singapura. Saya tinggal di Indonesia udah mulai 12 tahun already. Sama Logistics udah 24 tahun kirim barang dari Singapura ke Indonesia. Saya Pak Nick, asli orang Singapura, tapi saya tinggal di Indonesia, jagain barang kamu sampai ke pintu rumah kamu. Ada banyak orang Singapura ngobrol sama saya Pak Nick. Orang Indonesia baik atau enggak? Menurut saya, baik kok. Istri saya pun orang Indonesia, kakak. Saya sebenarnya suka banget Indonesia. Kalau kamu lihat belakang saya, sebenarnya bagus kok. Ada papa di sana, ambil sayur. Kalau kamu mau dia, ambil barang kamu dari Singapura. Jangan lupa kak, lewat dari Amal Logistics saja. Kalau teman-teman di sini mau tahu lebih jelas, jangan malu kak. Komen di bawah aja. Saya Panik sama tim Aman. Pasti jawab.
Hi, I'm Darren and I'm a Singaporean working in Indonesia. I came to Indonesia because I was excited to see how the economic landscape is like in Southeast Asia. And Indonesia is a developing country with a lot of potential, and that's why I came here. Staying in Casa de Parco at BSD City. I got the accommodation details from Lingkup Living. They were really nice. They picked me up from the airport and they helped me settle my SIM card. For a foreigner that speaks very limited Indonesian, this was very convenient for me. I heard about Lingkup Living from the company that I'm working in. Before I came to Indonesia, they gave me the contact details and I just reached out to them. Definitely, because as someone that is a foreigner to Indonesia, sometimes things are very complicated and things take very long. If you're someone looking to live in Indonesia, you should definitely give Lingkup Living a try. See you in Indonesia!
Menariknya, banyak warga Singapura mulai mengakui bahwa kehidupan di negara mereka memang menawarkan berbagai fasilitas modern dan sistem yang sangat tertata. Namun, di balik semua keunggulan tersebut, muncul tantangan lain yang semakin sering dibicarakan, yaitu tekanan hidup yang tinggi. Persaingan kerja yang ketat, biaya hidup yang mahal, serta tuntutan untuk selalu produktif membuat sebagian orang merasa sulit menikmati keseimbangan hidup. Ketika mereka datang ke Indonesia, mereka menemukan suasana yang berbeda. Di banyak kota dan daerah wisata, mereka melihat masyarakat yang tetap bisa menikmati kehidupan meskipun tidak selalu berada dalam lingkungan yang serba cepat. interaksi sosial yang lebih akrab, waktu yang terasa lebih fleksibel, serta beragam pilihan gaya hidup membuat Indonesia dipandang sebagai tempat yang menawarkan kenyamanan tersendiri. Banyak yang mengaku terkejut karena kenyataan yang mereka lihat jauh berbeda dibandingkan narasi negatif yang selama ini beredar.
Singaporeans are not as polite as Indonesians. Let me tell you why. Indonesians needs to be polite to you because they have no choice. They do not know when will you ever use them again. The tukang comes to your house, which is called the handyman over here, and fix your aircon or fix anything. Before they leave, they always look at you. Thank you, Pa. Hope to see you again. You know why? Because they want you to use them again. The Singaporeans will think, you already pay me what? This is my job. Why should I say thank you to you? I'm only paid to do this. As a Singaporean, I realize you have to be nice to everybody as much as you can in Indonesia because I never know when will I ever need their help. Security guard at my house, when the gate open, I also say thank you, Apa. Sorry, Apa. You know why? Because I never know when will I ever need his help. Because of all these soft skills that I learned, I realize we Singaporeans are lacking of this. Singaporeans do not know how to be nicer to people. If you like this type of content,
Everyone's asking me why on earth I'd moved from Singapore to Indonesia, and let me show you my day so you'll get why. I've made a new friend, my furniture designer. She took me to a baby and kids fair in Jakarta, and there are so many exciting brands here at very reasonable prices. Like these are only about 10 Singapore dollars. This is why I'm so excited to introduce you all to Indonesian brands. There are loads of great Singaporean brands, but also loads with Delulu pricing I can't justify. I ended up getting a t-shirt and short set from Kosoko because not only are the designs so cute, the material is tencel, so it's cool and soft. I couldn't stop stroking it. This is available in Singapore and they ship abroad too. Looking at the quality, I assumed it'll be closer to $100, but it's $40. You all, this fair is going on until the 18th, and I'd fly to Jakarta for this. Just buy 3-4 outfits and you'll make back the price of the plane ticket. I also got cookies for Evie's playdate tomorrow. Yes, she's already getting playdates. I guess her teachers are right. I have nothing to worry about when it comes to her making friends. We were given the wrong uniform last time and had to exchange it, so Evie got to see it at high school. She loves how many cats they have here. I actually crashed and fell asleep. I think the pollution is finally getting to me and I'm feeling more achy and tired. But our air purifiers at home has been helping big time. I usually feel miserable by day 4, but this is day 6. I do miss the air in Singapore. Oh yes, we finally went to Habitat, which is this little oasis in the middle of the financial district. I really love the vibes here. I just feel so at peace. We get to eat good food while the sun sets over Jakarta. That giant billboard building is the ugliest building ever. I hope whoever designed it is forever ashamed of destroying Jakarta's skyline. Anyway, they have a cat cafe and mini zoo here, but it's getting late, so we can only pick one, and Evie opted for the cat cafe. This place is adorable. The cats have the glossiest fur. They look so well taken care of. And it's my first time seeing a half Sphinx cat. It looks like a grooming accident. Of course, Indonesian service is fantastic, especially to kids. The staff here was playing with Evie, so it's like getting a free babysitter.
what is there not to love about Indonesia? Indonesia have so many loving people. And you know something? My wife's Indonesian and I've been in Indonesia for the past 13 years. If you want to know what I do for work, I'm actually a freight forwarder. I ship things from Singapore to Indonesia, and most of my customers are Indonesians living in Singapore. The company I work for is called Aman Logistics. We've been doing this for the past 26 years already. The truth is, I still miss Singapore. My family is there. My immediate relative is also there. You know something? In Singapore, kids don't need to pay school fees, you know. Everything is paid for the government. Here, I need to pay myself. If you look at my content, I always talk about Singapore and Indonesia. But if you read deeper, right, actually I'm saying that we all need to be contented. Because in life, everything is a want and a need. We all want a lot of things, but do we really need it? And the truth is, I learned this while I was in Indonesia. So, thank you, Indonesia.
I've been in Jakarta for 1 week, and I just wanted to share with you why am I here in the first place. I'm a business owner back in Singapore. I run a media company and specializes in food. Also, I do F&B hospitality consultancy. Living overseas has always been one of the dream of mine, and it's actually been something that I've always wanted to do since I was 22 years old. But, you know, work came in, and being a chef for the longest time, not only you cannot leave the country, but you can't even leave the kitchen. But 7 years on, you know, I'm back on track to what I want to do. A lot of things led me up to this decision. It was one of those days back in the office where, you know, it was a lull period of the year because that happens sometimes. And I was wondering, why is it so difficult? Why is owning a business so difficult? And then I was just thinking, I've been working really, really hard to make things work for my staff, my business, for everything else. But where do I come in? Where do I start making my own happiness and fulfilling those promises that I want to have for myself, that I made for myself back in 24. But actually the real wake-up call came when I was finding a house, because I turned 35 this year, and I was just looking at all the housing prices, and my gosh, it's been crazy. So instead of rushing myself to get a house and buying resale or buying a very expensive condominium in Singapore, I was just thinking, maybe I should just get a BTO. But in between now and then, until I get my house, why should I just stay here in Singapore? I don't know if you know, but as a single in Singapore, it's not that great. Singaporeans, I'm sure you know that choices for housing isn't that great for us when it comes to public housing. They really benefit the heteronormative people who are building families, getting married. But folks like me, it just kind of feels like I'm a second-class citizen in my own country. And since young, I've always been told, get a good job, get a house, and, live that Singaporean dream. I think that Singaporean dream doesn't really apply to me. All I did was just feel bitter about it and didn't do anything to change my situation or even change my mindset. I was just thinking, you know what? Enough of that self-victimizing mentality. Let's test the Singaporean system and let's see how much they will support me as a single entrepreneur who is wanting to go overseas. So that's why I'm here in Jakarta, and why at Jakarta of all places is because there's so many restaurants, hotels, as well as in Indonesia alone, and Jakarta is such an exciting place. In Singapore, an SME would be probably maybe 5 outlets, but an SME here is about 40 to 50 outlets per group. It's just economy of scales and effort, not money, but effort. This just makes more sense. And to those of you who are wanting to do something similar, especially if you're an entrepreneur, or if you can actually work from home, I would really, really suggest that you try out something like this. Be a digital nomad for a while. Travel the city, actually travel, meet people, talk to them, get to know the culture, and see really how small Singapore is, but also how relevant we are as well as Singaporeans. And don't ever tell yourself that it's impossible, or I cannot do it, or is this too hard. You can definitely work things around if you put your mind to it. And if you want to ask me on how you can do it, let's talk. Yeah. So week 1 in Jakarta is done. A few more weeks to go. I'll keep you updated.
Fenomena ini menunjukkan bahwa pengalaman langsung seringkali lebih kuat daripada opini yang dibentuk oleh pemberitaan atau stereotip lama. Semakin banyak warga Singapura yang datang dan merasakan sendiri kehidupan di Indonesia, semakin banyak pula pandangan yang berubah. Mereka mulai melihat Indonesia bukan hanya sebagai negara tujuan wisata, tetapi juga sebagai tempat yang memiliki kualitas hidup yang menarik dari sisi sosial, budaya, hingga keseharian masyarakatnya. Di sisi lain, perbincangan mengenai #SellSingapore juga membuka diskusi tentang pentingnya keseimbangan antara kemajuan ekonomi dan kenyamanan hidup. Sebuah negara mungkin unggul dalam infrastruktur dan efisiensi, namun banyak orang kini menyadari bahwa kualitas hidup tidak hanya diukur dari hal-hal tersebut. Rasa nyaman, hubungan sosial yang hangat, serta kesempatan untuk menikmati hidup tanpa tekanan berlebihan menjadi faktor yang semakin dihargai. Dan dalam perbincangan itulah, Indonesia justru mulai mendapatkan apresiasi yang lebih besar dari sebagian warga Singapura yang sebelumnya memiliki pandangan berbeda.